Okay, Alan, so you are now live. Can you please make me co-host?
Greetings, everyone. Our Get Moving with Qigong class will start in a minute. Greetings. So just a couple of things in terms of preparing for your practice. So if you think you might want a chair for the warm-ups or for your movement, have one handy. And what else? Please, I recommend that you have all background sound and potential distractions as much as possible turned off, or letting somebody know I'm in Qigong. Please don't interrupt me. Phone ringers off. Because sometimes I'm surprised, I forget my house is quiet and I don't have things on that much, but sometimes people are doing Qigong and they have the TV or the radio on, and I mean, it's not a crime, but it's just a better experience, and you can hear and focus better when you just have the one thing going on. So, yeah. All right, a few more people are coming in, and then we'll get started. Okay, let's see what this note says. So in the chat is a note from Harry, our teaching assistant from Get Set Up. So if you have any questions or issues around Zoom, he is here to assist. Just type your message into the chat. You want to make sure you have me on speaker view, so you see me large. If you see me in a small box, that's gallery view. That's not going to work to follow me because I'll be in a very small box. So that's a setting on your end. What I do with these Qigong classes, I basically put everybody on mute, and if you need to speak in the beginning or you have a question or anything that just feels important to say, of course, unmute yourself and speak. And then at the end of class, I can take some questions. So, all right, let me start our recording and then we'll start our class.
Hi, Elle. Oh, this is
Yes,
Felice.
go ahead, Felice. Yeah.
Hi. I have a question because it's so frustrating. Do you record your other class on self-healing? Because every time I ask for a recording of it, they say they don't have it. So I don't know if it's on their end or what. Because I attend the sessions, and sometimes I may have to leave early, but I haven't been able to get a recording.
I have recorded it, but maybe I have to take attendance. I have to do a couple of things to complete the class.
Okay.
So maybe that's why. I'll find out for you. And
okay.
If that's the case, then you should be able to.
Okay, thank you. Because I
get
really enjoy doing your classes. Just like my day doesn't feel complete when I'm not taking your Qigong or something. And I try, they're adding so many classes now, and the time, you have to juggle everything.
Right, right.
But
what a wonderful problem to have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And I'm so glad that you're finding, you're enjoying my classes and getting a benefit. So welcome to those who have become like my devoted students. It's really an honor and a pleasure. And everyone else is most welcome. So this is Get Moving with Qigong. Let me start our recording. I'm just going to mute you all out. Thanks for the heart. All right.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I have to leave early today as well at 5:30 because I'm double booked somewhat.
Busy lady.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and just so everybody knows, the class is so big. So I appreciate that's like, consideration and manners to let somebody know, hey, I'm going to have to leave early. And you don't need to do that. If you just quietly leave, we'll miss you, but the class will just continue. And, for anyone that can, try and, just set the time aside for the whole class. And sometimes, other things happen. So this is Get Moving with Qigong. I'm Ellen Shapiro, and I am coming to you from my living room here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we're having a beautiful spring day. and not too much wind, which is a great blessing for this area. We get a lot of wind in the spring. So this Get Moving class, what I've been doing, so I teach this one on Tuesday and Thursday at this time, is teaching a series of movements and like a flow where we go from one to the next. So we do some warm-ups. I give just a little bit of teaching, but I don't do a lot of talking in this class because this is more focused on continuous flow of movement. If you want more information or a foundation for Qigong and what it is and all of that, then come to the come to the Qigong for Beginners class and check that one out. That's where I do more of that kind of thing. But for anyone that might be brand new to Qigong, what it's all about is building and cultivating the Qi, the life force energy in the body. That's what everything is geared towards. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And we are being recorded, and you can request the recording. And again, you don't get it automatically. You do have to ask for it. Find the chat. Let's see. Yes, and the email address to request the recording is right here already. Harry's put it in there. And it's help@getsetup.io. That's right in the chat. All right. So I just thought it would be fun today to pull a card for our class and kind of tune into the energy and maybe get a healing message for everyone. So I have these cards. They're the wisdom of the elder woman. They've got these beautiful pictures of older women on the back. Someone gave this to me for my 60th birthday. And this card that I got is called Empowerment. And actually, I think the message is perfect for our class. It says, invest in yourself, laugh and be lighthearted. Choose to relish your existence in this singular human body. Invest in your spirit. Explore creative expression, which allows deep, soulful connection, not only to ourselves, but to others. Invest in your soul to accept all that is to be, open to the vast possibilities of life. You have the authority. So focus, I love that, invest in yourself and put energy, put care, put focus into yourself. And of course, that's what we do in these Qigong classes. So I'm going to come up to standing and we will get moving. Okay. All right. So first, just this back. I still see no. Okay. Don't want you to see my laptop, top of my laptop, not necessary. All right, here we are. So just take a minute, just plant your feet, relax your knees, let them bend a little bit. Feel your feet making contact with the floor. You can spread your toes out to give yourself an even more solid base. And feel your whole body and your feet being supported by the floor underneath you and the earth underneath that. And just take a minute to close your eyes and tune into your body and just just ask yourself, how are you doing, body? How are you feeling today? Notice if you're feeling tired, wired, tense, pretty mellow, no energy, whatever it is, just notice it with curiosity. And, there's that saying about making friends with your body. So let's practice that right now. So what would you do with a friend, right? You're just checking in. You're saying hello to your friend, like, how are you doing? And then you would listen. So just take a minute and listen and see if the body tells you anything or, helps you feel something, just becoming aware. And given what you've just noticed with your body or what it told you or showed you, what would the body like to receive from this practice? And just make a note. Maybe it's relaxation. Maybe it's slowing my thoughts down. Maybe it's getting present in the moment. Maybe you've had a busy day or, like a lot of interactions with people and you need to come home to yourself. And whatever it is, this is your intention for the practice today. And just make sure everybody is muted out. All right. So you may have heard, like Wayne Dyer wrote, a lot of books on the power of intention. It's talked about a lot. And in Chinese medicine, which is what QiGong is based on, we talk about intention in terms of a word called the yi. So that's our intention, our will, our focus, and that's associated with the spleen energy. So the spleen, so not just the organ of the spleen, which is here, but the spleen meridian pathway. And that's about like kind of assimilation. What are we going to take in? What are we going to let go of? So, and again, this idea of intention is like, okay, this is what I want to take in. This is what I want to focus on right now. And I want to let go of other things. So developing our spleen energy is good for a lot of things. It's good for, practically speaking, for our digestion. And it's also good for focus. So, yeah. All right, so what we're going to do today, first we're going to do some warm-ups, and then we're going to move into a series of movements called, well, I just call it healing Qigong, but it's Qigong movements linked to each other that work with all the organs in the Chinese system. So when we get there, I'll explain a little bit more, but let's just do some warm-ups. All right, so let's start with our feet today. And first, just press your foot down onto the floor. Just focus on one, right or left. Lift the heel and just plant it down. Again, spread the toes. Do the other foot. Lift that heel, press onto the ball of the foot. And the reason I talk a lot about the ball of the foot is there are 2 points there called bubbling spring or kidney 1 that are good for grounding and balance. So, and I do recommend barefoot if you can, socks if you need them, always making sure you have enough cushioning under you and that you're not on a slippery surface. If you need to wear shoes, of course, then wear shoes. But we do emphasize the feet quite a bit here. All right, let's just go back and forth, bending the knee and really lifting that heel up more. And now we're going to circle the knee out in a circle like that. So in order to do that and feel like you can relax into it, you want to have a sense of balance and rooting on the standing leg. And if that doesn't feel that secure to you, then you just use a chair and you're not really leaning on it, you're just using it for support. That's fine too. And this Qigong can be practiced in a chair, by the way, with great benefit. So, all right, same thing we did on the other foot. So just first bending, lifting the heel, bending the knee forward, back. And then circles. Other way. All right, and we're going to stretch the top of the foot, which is an area we don't always stretch, and it's actually really good for keeping the ankles flexible. And because toxins and things can kind of accumulate in the feet. So this one I do recommend the chair for. You don't have to, but it might help. So I'm going to put one foot a little bit forward, and this back foot, I'm going to turn it over. So I'm pressing down gently on the top of my foot. That's what's contacting the floor, and it stretches the front of the ankle. Don't put too much weight on that foot. The weight should be mostly on the front foot. Just be gentle. All right, and then I turn the toes back, and I'll show you this from the side. We're going to stretch into our calves a little bit. So same foot, get that foot back, front leg is bent, and I slowly lower the heel. If you're tight in your calves, or for whatever reason, you can't get the heel down all the way, just go to where you can go. All right, let's do the other side. Okay, so yeah, so again, first we just do the top of the foot back like that, and see how my leg is kind of loose. I'm really standing on the other leg. And then just slowly, gently pressing in, bending that front knee, stretching the front of the foot. And then turn the foot back, and again, stretching back into your calves. All right. Let's do some empty coat sleeves. So getting the feet like that, and they're slightly turned out, not like way out like that. And again, with the stance and with the position and alignment of your feet and your legs, the main thing you want to be aware of is, and I say this in every class because it is important, is that the knees, when I come down, are going over my feet. And I have a tendency, as probably a lot of you do, that see how they're going in? That's not good. You want to have them really, yeah. All right, so empty coat sleeves, just letting the body kind of loosely swing, and see how my heel is coming up. You can do that. Okay, let's get that hand up on the shoulder, just lightly landing, not slapping really, it just lands there. Ah. All right, slowing that down. Okay, let's do a little bit for the inside of the thighs here, and also for the pelvic area, which is important to keep, we want to keep energy flowing through there. So just, and you can do this sitting if this is hard to lean forward, and I'm just kind of lightly, sounds loud, but it's pretty, the touch is pretty light. Come up the inside of the legs, and I'm just going to tap lightly around my belly, whole pelvic area here. And this tapping is another way of bringing chi into the body. So let's do a little bit also for our kidneys in the back. So first, warm your hands and just bring them to your low back. So it should be above the waist. That's the area of the kidneys there, which we are very important in general, and we emphasize them a lot in this particular practice. Okay, so now let's do, we don't actually need to rub our hands, we're just gonna do a little kidney slapping or tapping. So you can do loose fists, not hard, back there. You can also just use the back of your hands, your preference, whatever works for you. Just waking those kidneys up. All right. Do a little bit of arm swinging. So let me just show you one. So I bend my knees a little, inhale, coming up, palms are facing me. Then I turn the palms and come down, just like that. Up a little. We do this fairly slow. And then we're going to speed it up and we're going to go higher. But if you have arthritis or something else going on in your arms or shoulders, just stay with this one, okay? Everybody else up and that feels good, and let it swing out. Let's stretch our wrists, fingers, just playing, turning those wrists around. And let's do second heart today. So right over left, interlace, and gently and slowly, don't go further than you can, slowly turning. So if your wrists are tight, you may just come to here. Here, breathe. All right, let that go. And other hand, so now left hand is on top, interlace. So we're stretching the wrists here. All right, let's just do a little bit to open up our necks and shoulders here. So fold your hands like that, doesn't matter which one's on top. And we're going to go 10 times in one direction and then 10 times in the other. But before we do, just turn your head to the right. Just see how far you can go without straining. Then turn to the left. And again, this is just noticing a range of motion. Okay, and then we're going to do this movement and then you're going to recheck. And usually you'll find that your neck gets a much bigger range of motion. So 10 to the right. Five. Yeah, it was 10. And now the other way, notice I'm not moving my head really. Don't strain, just go to your range of motion. 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 10, and then let the arms go. And now just for observation, turn your head, see if you can go further. Like I can go about 20% further. It's amazing. Other side. All right. We are ready for our QiGong. So let's start with a standing posture. It's called standing at stake. And from there, we'll segue into the whole series. All right, so feet about hip width apart. And they can be parallel or facing slightly out. And again, that's going to depend on your physiology. So just making sure those knees are in alignment. Coming down. And now, taking in an inhale, and on the exhale now, let your arms go move into a circle like you're hugging a tree. Your thumbs are up, try and even them out or relax them. And finally, relaxing the shoulders. Just breathing, so you're in a round circle, you're not up against the body and you're not stretched all the way out, hugging that tree. Feeling your feet connecting with the floor and feeling the crown of your head opening towards the sky. And we are now in standing at stake. This is the beginning position. This is the entrance into the series. Just an opportunity to get grounded and centered. All right, let's let that go. We're going to move into the practice here with this transitional movement called gossamer threads. So like you're grasping a thread between your thumb and your middle finger and you're just gently lifting it. And we do this lift 3 times. A little higher. And now we let that thread go and our hands are drifting into our first QiGong movement here called Calm the Waters. A little better. All right, so bending the knees, arms, the hands are moving across a surface, so they're staying flat. And they come to about here. And now the hands gather back towards the body as the legs rise. And we always maintain a slight bend in the legs and the arms. We never lock in full extension. So here we are in Calm the Waters. And so one of the things about the style of QiGong is using quite a few metaphors and images. So let's imagine we're standing by the banks of a river together, all lined up along the shore. And the river is kind of choppy, maybe there's some white water, or it's just kind of turbulent. And now, with the combined yi, that intention or power of our group, we have this amazing ability to calm the waters. Letting everything just settle down. Imagining this river again. Swirling silt and mud, the little pebbles all settling down to the bottom. The water becoming much quieter. So as we do this, we're also inviting the water in our own bodies. We're 70 to 80% water. Settle down, calm down, it's okay. We are just right here practicing QiGong together. Okay, on this next repetition, we're going to transition. So we come out to here. And now my hands are going to come in front. The right hand is under. And the hands are crossed at the wrist. Come up to our chest level. Hands turn. And in a smooth flowing motion, extending out. And again, I don't go completely straight. There's a little bend in my elbows. Okay, now we move into this next form this way. And just stay here for a second, just pause, and I'm going to adjust the camera, push it back a little bit for you to see more of my arms. That'll be better. Okay, so here we are, and I've got my right on top. Okay, so now I'm going to bend my knees first, and I'm going to take a nice big inhale and lift my elbows. Big breath, hands are soft, 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 and then they start to extend. Once more, crossing at the wrists, the hands come back to the chest. And our fingertips are resting on the beginning of the lung pathway, the lung meridian. So let's just take your middle finger and just press into whatever point it naturally lands on, and not hard, but just giving a little pressure in there. Okay, so now just hold that point, bending the knees, and again, full inhale. Expanding your breath. So now we are in our second form. This is called opening the breath or opening the lungs. So that's what this is all about. Taking in a full breath. The breath says, I am alive, I am here. I am celebrating my existence by taking a nice deep breath. Here we go. Expanding my energy field and my heart as I shine out into the world. And then as the end of the practice, the end of the day, we come home to ourselves and we go a little bit more internal at this part of the form. So we also work a little bit with the eyes. I don't talk about it that much because there's a lot of details, but the eyes are a little bit downward. Again, the feeling is a little more introverted here. And then it's time for another day or another opportunity to expand out into the world, interact with people. So here we go. Deep breath. I move my energy out. So I'm more focused out into the world. And now I gather it all back home to myself. Inhale and sinking. And as the hands come back, the legs rise. They come home to the lungs here. All right, 2 more repetitions. They're soft, 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 wrists are soft, and then everything moves out into expression. And then to transition, just come back to here. The hands are on the collarbone. And we just did the transition into the next form, which I'll show you now. And it's called Destiny Bridge. So before we continue, just shake your feet out and notice if there's any place where you're starting to build up a little tension, maybe your hands or your shoulders or your face, and just move it around, let it go. So that is also one of the principles in QiGong, which is all about getting the energy to flow more freely in the body, is relaxation. So a lot of times we just don't realize, especially if we're concentrating or learning something new, maybe, we're doing there's some mental focus here. We can forget, to notice what's going on in my body. Oh, whoa, okay, let me shake that out. So we want to prevent a lot of tension from building up by every now and then checking in. Okay, let's go into Destiny Bridge. And so I start again, bending the knees as the elbows are going to wing back behind the body. Fingertips are still on the collarbone. Hands together, extending straight forward, and then finally they separate. Then I turn the hands and come back to the collarbone. So this form is for the spleen, which I mentioned before when I was talking about intention and also about assimilation. So that's what this form is for. So again, bend those knees, sink down. Imagine that your tailbone is getting closer to the earth, which it is. And then we're gathering strength. We're gathering a kind of slow, dignified power with this part. And now that power and that grounding allows us to move our hands out and look calmly and bravely out at whatever is coming. The destiny is a big word, right? But destiny can just mean what's happening today, what's happening tomorrow, as well as the big changes. So this form is about accepting our day-to-day destiny and what happens in this kind of very calm, clear-eyed way. And it's okay, this movement can feel a little awkward when you're just learning it, if we don't normally move this way. So this is actually a slowed down version of a martial strike, which would be much, much faster than this. Bending those hands out. Again, lower the shoulders, separate the hands, and then we turn the palms. And here's the gesture of acceptance that just says, okay, I'm here. I am showing up for my life. Whatever is happening now, whatever is happening in the future. The whole level of how things are so unknown in the world. This is a perfect QiGong form. Let's do 2 more. You can just follow me. I'll be silent so you can kind of sink into the form and feel it in your body more. Good, and just pause here. Okay, I'm going to adjust some things in my house here, but you can just hold the position. Very warm in here today. Okay. Time check. Okay, good. So this series of movements, it's 10 different QiGong movements. So right now I'm teaching it in a series, like I'm, building. So we get a little farther every week. Eventually you'll know all 10. And yeah, that's all I really need to say here. Okay, so sinking down again, let's do final one. And from here, we're going to go right into our next QiGong form or movement. This is called 5 elements form. And it starts just like the one we just did with a little subtle difference, and then it changes. So we start the same way, bend the knees, open. The only difference is I come back a little bit more, like open my throat a little more. Same thing, hands move out to here. They separate, and here's the difference. Now my fingertips are starting to draw together, and they come right to here. So right to the level of the pelvis, just below the belly button or dantian. And then we move into the form with a nice inhale, bend the knees. It's called great wings. And the feeling here is like I'm just about to fly, but no, I decide to bring all that energy back down into my lower body. And I press down like I'm packing down. That's the name of this movement, is packing down the energy. And then I turn. So I've got my thumb is against my index finger. I don't know if you can, how well you can see that, but that's what I'm doing there. Okay, so now coming back. And once more, the arms come around and make that point like that and open. And we're lifting our essential goodness, our chi, like our pure essence. We're lifting it up into the body and saying, this is me. And I am claiming who I am. I'm gathering all of that beautiful power and strength and wisdom right here. All my life experiences are this very compact little ball. It's quite powerful. And then we release that, turn the hands. So here we are working with an aspect of the qi. It's called the Jing, and it's It's the energy that actually made our bodies. So it comes from conception, comes from sexuality. And that's how we come into these bodies. So in this beautiful symbolic way, we're celebrating our whole existence. This is me coming into form. This is me living my life, walking my path. And this is me gathering it all back to myself like a treasure. I'll just show you one more detail here. Okay. So come back. We're here. And here, as my hands come down, I'm slightly tilting my pelvis forward. So it's just another little detail there. Okay, now we're going to come up and to transition into our next form. We come down and the right hand is again on the outside further from your body, like that. So my right hand is like pretty much right over my left, and there's the fingertips make a point, and that's called arrow hands. And I point that arrow up, I lift it up to my eyes, and then I open my hands, and I come down, and again right underneath, and here I'm going to move into my next form. Compassion form, and my hands are going to come up to here. They could go higher, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So this is my right. I'm going to slide my left hand under my right. The hands move apart and they come gently down. So I'm going to show you this seated, just again so you can more easily follow my movements. You don't need to sit. Okay. So we came down to here and we're gathering goodness and support from the earth. We're lifting it, moving it through our bodies. This is like a shower of blessings upon our heads. And then everything just opens, releases, and we gently lower the elbows and we sink the body down a bit. So moving from the earth, we gift our whole body with love and care. Again, the left slides under the right. Notice how the palms are front. And the feeling is that the elbows and the knees are calling my body down. So I'm not bending forward like that. What nurtures you in your life? Let yourself take that in. What ways do you take care of yourself or show yourself some kindness? Let this form celebrate all of that. Maybe it's just simple things. Here, we're working with the Chinese medicine of this form is heart and spleen. And if you could talk to your own body the way a loving mother would talk to her child, or a loving dad would talk to his child, have that feeling as you move here. Just, oh, look how beautiful you move. You are amazing. And now we'll transition, we'll come into arrow hands once again. So right's on the outside. And this is just an in-between transition movement. And now the hands will turn. The right hand is going to kind of ride down the top of the left arm. And our palms are facing down here. And now, as we move into Phoenix Rising, feel the earth, the energy field of the earth, lifting our hands, and everything turns now. The hands turn, the eyes turn, upper body reaches up. And now it's like we're looking up at the sky and saying, okay, how can I bring that sunlight down to warm the earth? It's still cold down here. And imagine you could carry the sunlight through your movement. And finally, as you go past your heart and your lower abdomen, your hands open and face the earth. And here you are gifting this beautiful light. And the plants and all that light grows quickly under your hands, lifting them up. Then everything looks up in this big celebration of light. So again, I'm only sitting for purposes of demonstration. You can stay standing. If you're practicing standing, if you're already in a chair, then we're right in sync. Yeah. And playing again with the height of your hands here. So if your shoulders have some stiffness, you can be down here. If you're more open, you could be here or even up here, but don't strain and don't push yourself. Just find your natural range of motion. So it's, again, I'm not lifting them, they're being lifted from underneath. And once more, we're also working in this. Phoenix Rising is the name of this. We're also working again with heart and spleen. And here, what is the gift that you would like to offer to yourself or someone else? Okay, so I'm going to come up to standing again. Let's come down. Okay, and just pause here. Just stay right where you are. I want to see the time. Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you the next form, and you can just, why don't you just stay where you are? You could put your hands on your dantian, left and then right over your, just below your belly button, as you watch me. So I'm just going to demonstrate one repetition of this. So when we do it together, I'm going to turn around and you'll see it from the back, but I want to show you what it looks like from the front. Okay, so come down from here, and then I'm going to open my hands. I step wider, and I'm doing this. Now I'm going to wrap this left hand back onto the right kidney. My right hand comes across and comes back to the right side. And then as my hand comes behind me, I turn the hand and slide it back onto my left kidney as this hand comes across and back. So let's do it together, and now you'll just feel, so you know what I'm doing. So come like this, and I'll show you from the back. Okay, so again, opening the arms and the hands, the palms spread apart. You can turn your right foot in a little bit, and spiraling this left, the back of the left hand slides onto the right, and now this hand comes across the body and comes home to itself. So we do a lot of spiraling and twisting in this one. So this back of the hand coming here. Now my left hand comes like that. This form is called the beholding. And this is like I'm reaching inside myself to find a memory or a secret. And my hand is just, I'm holding it in my hand. I'm looking at it. I'm acknowledging it. And I'm moving with all of that energy. And all of this twisting is for the kidneys. Also, this form is probably the most challenging physically in this set. So be very gentle with your twisting and your knees. Adjust your feet as you need to. And let me show you. You might want to do a smaller version. Let me show you. So here's just a small version. My hand doesn't go as far, and I don't twist quite as far either. And that is totally fine. Finding the right practice for you today. And it might be different on a different day, but what feels good, like a good stretch, but not too much. And if you're able to, you can turn a little bit and face the back. Notice I have to bend this knee a little bit to do that. But don't push that. If you're not, that doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. Okay, then pause. Your left hand should be in front. And now we'll transition right into our next form. So this hand is going to come down like that. Notice how it's just kind of coming right down the middle. The back hand comes forward, backs of the hands brush each other. And like a dance partner, changing places now. My right hand is going to come up behind my ear and up over my head. And once more, I'll just sit for visibility. Up to here. And now it comes down again, same movement, comes down the midline. About here, the lower hand starts to come up, brushing by, and now I take my hand and I go behind my left ear in the back of my head, and I stretch. The palm is facing up. You can be here, you could be here, you could be down here, and my thumb is against my upper thigh. All right. Yin Yang Palm is the name of this one. And just feeling this stretch, it's kind of an unusual direction for a stretch. This is working with the spleen meridian here. So the fingertips are just like a knife pointed straight down. Back of the other hand comes up. Once more, trading places. Enjoy that stretch. And one more time. Okay, now bringing that hand down. And let's come to here. I think this is, we're going to have to conclude here. Oh yeah, okay. So we're almost got through almost the whole series today. We did quite a lot of it. So just taking your hands and all of the chi from our practice, like it's a little ball, press down your right over your left, left over right, And then let's just toss that chi out, catch it, plant it back right into your own body. Letting the practice nourish all your organs, all your pathways. And we'll just close by honoring our practice. Thank you for practicing with me today. And let me come forward here and I can answer any questions. You can also just share how you're feeling or what that was like for you. So any questions, anything anyone wants to ask? And again, you can request the recording of the class to practice it again. Yeah, so. All right, quiet group today. Oh, good. I'm glad. Well, welcome back, Kathy. Yeah. Very good. I'm glad, Gil. Yeah. Yeah, so I teach, this is Get Moving with QiGong. I teach this on Tuesday and Thursday at this time. And QiGong for Beginners is on Monday and Thursday morning. It's on Monday afternoon and Thursday morning. I'm also teaching a self-healing through touch class on Wednesday afternoons. And Ageless Grace, which is playful dancing, playing, moving from a chair that is good for your mood and also for your brain. And it's actually an interesting and good workout too. So that's what I'm teaching on Get Set Up. Yeah, so any other last questions or comments before we go? I hope everybody is feeling good, and definitely drink some water after the QiGong and notice how you feel, especially, you know, like right after class and even in the next 24 hours, and see what you notice. So, yeah. So thank you all for being here. And was there a question, Janice, or just
No,
thank you?
no, I'm saying good night.
Yeah.
Night. I feel tired today.
You feel tired?
Yeah, I feel tired today. I usually can go on and on and on, but I'm struggling today. But it is it's 11 p.m. here.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
actually, right. And if that ever happens when you're doing the QiGong, maybe just try, experiment with the chair, just try doing it a little bit smaller. But I suspect that you'll just find it'll enable you to just kind of ease into relaxation. So it's one of the nice things about practicing in the late afternoon or the evening is it can really improve your sleep and just your ability to wind down after a day. So very good. Well, thank you all. We'll close the class here. And
enjoy your day, everybody. I'm going to bed.
all right.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everyone. Stay healthy. See you in class again, I hope. All right. Bye for now. You're very welcome, Nancy. Okay.